so that we can acquire right knowledge and skill that will enable us to take active roles in decision-making processes.
We, as the East African community, need to be educated on different cultures, on different countries. So can the ULEAD Summit provide a platform like Expo? You know, like just like an Expo where each country has a booth that give information about their country, the language they speak, the cultures. They can even bring products from their own countries.
Ideally, we leave it to the creativity of the countries to determine what they're going to bring here in the form of cultural exchange. We have never prescribed.
We need to conduct consultative meetings with different stakeholders. We have the MPs, the members of parliament, the government. We even have to use these religious leaders, even the media, by the way. They should be part and parcel peace building of our different nations. And the next recommendation is there is the need to conduct trainings on post-conflict reconciliation and stabilization. As youth, we need that information because remember, knowledge is power.
Africa, tusonga mbele mama Africa, Africa,
Kopango Africa, Mauritanie bonse, yahe, chiche, bonjour, mamo.
Welcome everybody. We'll just give our host a couple of minutes to join us. But welcome and thank you for joining us right on time, 7 p.m. EAT. Kazeneza, are you there? All right, maybe let's just give her a second to join us. But I see so many of you here already. Please feel free to leave your name, your country, what you do in the comment section so that we can connect with you as we wait for our host to just come and join us. I think some of our guests are already here with us, so we can probably start with our introductions as we wait for Kaze. Once again, please feel free to leave your name, country, and where you're from, and what you do in the comment section. My name is Fiona. I'm usually the one who does this, but today, as we start off our series on peace and security, Kazeneza is going to be the moderator. I'm just going to ask her one more time. Kaze, are you there?
Yes, I'm back. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, I hope you can see me a little bit. Yeah, okay. Good afternoon, good evening to everyone who is here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Very good, yes. So welcome to all of you who have already joined. I am sure other people will be joining, but I want to welcome those who have already arrived. Thank you very, very much. I would be actually very happy to hear some of the voices of the people who are already here to just say hi. Let me see. I think we have a quite number of people who are here. David Nyaribi, how are you? I am not sure if it's just me, but I'm not hearing David. Let's try Chege Kamau. Good evening, Chege.
Evening, how are you?
I am good. Welcome. Where are you from?
Thank you, from Kenya.
Oh, welcome very much. Hi,
Thank you.
Abdirashid Yusuf. Good evening. Hello, Yusuf. Good evening.
Good evening.
How are you?
Fine.
You are joining from where?
Somalia.
From Somalia. That's very nice. You are most welcome. Good evening, Samuel Kizito.
Hey, good evening.
How are you?
I'm okay, thanks.
Where are you joining from?
Swaziland, but I'm from Uganda.
Oh, that's nice. Tell the people from Swaziland. Swaziland is Eswatini, eh?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's good. Yes, tell everyone there. Hi, Rutere. I don't know if I'm trying to see if there are women here. I think we have more men today. Hello, Rutere.
Hello, I can hear you.
How are you?
I'm doing very fine. I'm fine.
Very good. Where are you joining from?
Okay, I'm joining from Sagana in Kenya.
Oh, welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Let's hear the last Charles Kisame. Good evening, Charles.
Good evening, how are you?
I am good. How is you?
I'm okay. This is Charles Kisame from Kenya, Nairobi.
Oh, very good.
Glad to be here. I just bumped into this while I was online. I said I wanted to join and
I'm
here.
happy to welcome you here. Thank you for joining.
Asante sana.
Okay, so I see we have already our speakers of tonight. As you guys have seen, we are going to talk about the role of young people in promoting peaceful election in Kenya. You know that this year in August, Kenya is going to have election, and it's a very exciting moment to all of us in the region, but specifically to Kenya. But really, I think one of the things I liked in our posters, which our person here, Fiona, is our lead communication. There was something written saying that Kenya's election is not just about the Kenya as a nation, but it is about all of us as EAC region, but also as Africans. And to talk about election in one country, it's also to open discussion for other many countries which normally have the same experiences. And each year there are many countries which go through that. So today we will be talking about that. And I am happy to introduce my speakers of tonight. Good evening, Mr. Leonard Onyonyi.
Yeah, good evening.
How are you?
I am fine.
Very good. Are you joining from?
I'm in Dar es Salaam.
Oh, from Dar es Salaam. I'm happy to hear your voice. I hope Dar es Salaam is treating you well.
That is okay.
Yes, that's nice. I am also having Rose Mbone. Hi, Rose.
Hi, Cassie. How are you?
I am good. How is you?
I'm good.
You are joining from where?
I'm joining from Nairobi, Kenya.
Oh, that's nice. We are supposed to have also Wilkista Aduma. She called me few hours ago. She's not feeling well, but she will try to join. So as soon as she join, we'll be happy to also introduce her. Thank you. I see people who have been introducing themselves. Welcome to everyone who is here, and to everyone who is following us and following this discussion through our social media, especially Facebook, Twitter, and those who are following us through our YouTube channel. Welcome to everyone. I will just start to our discussion, which we will open to also you guys for your comment, your questions, and your suggestion. I would be happy to hear from Mr. Onyonyi to tell us about himself. I am sure you have a very big bio, but in short, tell us who you are and what you do and where you work. Yeah.
I lost you for a while. I don't know if you're addressing me. I lost you.
Yes. Yes, I was kindly asking you to introduce yourself and then to tell us a little bit about yourself. I was saying that you might have a very long bio, but you can tell us in short who you are and what you do.
Of course, my name is Leonard Onyonyi. I'm a peace and security expert at the Secretariat. I have been there since 2006. I was actually the first member of staff in the Peace and Security Department. Prior to that, I was the security coordination in Kenya. I was also the founder coordinator of the Committee on Peace Building and Conflict Management. Primarily, my work has been coordinating the implementation of the peace and security strategy and protocol. So I trust that suffices. For the years I've been here, are you getting me?
Yes, yes, well.
For the years I've been at this at the Secretariat, of a number of legal instruments. Of course, one being the Peace and Security Protocol, which came into force in 2018, December. And we have a regional strategy on peace and security. We have a CPR, conflict prevention strategy. We have a counterterrorism strategy. So that's just a bit about my background. Yeah. Others, I'm married and educationally, I hold a master's degree in project management. I have a bachelor's in public administration and building and conflict management from Uppsala University, Sweden, and another postgraduate diploma in refugee management from University of Dar es Salaam, and of course a number of other certificate many courses I've attended, including international humanitarian law at the Institute in Italy. And I've been representing EAC and Kenya in many international forums, and I'm a focal person for Africa Union and the UN on a number of key areas like terrorism and small arms and light weapons, yeah, as well as maritime security.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I think that shows that we have the right person to talk to us and really dialogue about this, especially election and young people in Kenya. I am also happy that you will not talk just as a peace and expert from ESC, but also as a Kenyan, because you know the country, you are Kenyan, and you have been working in Kenya, and especially in terms of things around conflict management. So really, I'm happy to have you this evening. We'll just go to Rose. Rose, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Kanzi.
Yes, I will just ask the same thing I asked Mr. Onyonyi to tell us about yourself. I think me and you, we met the first time in 2019 it was, I think, in first mediation forum for young women in Kenya. Was it?
I'm not so sure, but I'll remember. Soon I'll remember.
Yeah. So you just introduce yourself.
Okay.
Tell us about yourself and what you do and your organization.
Thank you, Kaze. So my name's Rose Mbone, and I'm the founder and president of the Legend Kenya. And the Legend Kenya is a community-based organization that works in the informal settlements of Nairobi. And our work narrows down on conflict management education, trauma healing awareness and resilience, forgiveness, small arms and light weapons awareness. And when we talk about small arms, we narrow it down to disarmament. Currently, we are in the process of localizing UNSCR 2250 on youth, peace and security. And our key focus include, we have just introduced the document to 40 young people, identified young people from across Nairobi. We have Korogosho, Mathare, Kayole, and Kiambio. The reason as to why we have identified this as our project site is because of YPS document is still seen as a foreign document, and yet in real sense, it speaks directly to some of the things these young people do in the informal settlement. I have also been in the peace building fraternity for the last 10 years. I started in 2012, and I'm a accredited member of the FEM West Africa. In 2018, I did receive an award as a young woman mediation ambassador in Addis Ababa. And last year, again, the State Department of Gender and the Office of the First Lady of the Republic of Kenya also recognized my work on youth, peace and security, and I did receive the Trailblazer Award, and also received an international award, the International Young Woman Peace and Human Rights Award from Democracy Today, and many others. Will get to understand them as we continue with our today's discussion. So up to there, allow me to get back to Katze and as she leads to the next process. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rose. Again, as I said, I'm really very honored to have you, Rose, and Mr. Onyonyi for this discussion. I would have never wanted other people. You really are the people who know and understand a lot about what we are going to discuss. So I will go back to Mr. Onyonyi and just talk about as somebody who work and have worked on a lot of things in ESC, especially in the Department of Peace and Security. I would want to know, how does ESC get involved in election in member states? I know last year you guys were in involved in Uganda, you have been involved in Burundi, you have been involved in Tanzania. How does it work? Do you just come? Tell us about that whole process.
Thank you very much. The EAC has been involved in electoral processes in a more formal and structured manner since 2010. Mm-hmm. And in the year 2012, the Council of Ministers approved guidelines, principles called EAC Principles of Election Observation and Evaluation, which provide a framework for election observation within the EAC region, and it covers a wide range of issues that have to do with electoral process, right from pre, during, and after. So the whole idea of observation is to promote peer learning among the partner states. What normally comes out of an observation process are recommendations, which are not binding on anybody, but being a family, we expect to learn good practices from each other. And at the EAC, we have a forum for election management bodies where they share some of these experiences. From time to time, it meets twice a year. They share the on elections from the universally agreed practices with respect to conducting elections, being the mandated institutions. So ours is to support the governance, the department that deals with governance, where elections is embedded during the electoral process, because governance and peace and security have a direct relationship. At one, there's a causal relationship among the two. So you can't really draw a very clear line, because a contested election may very likely lead to violence if there is no legal framework, or if the legal system is not trusted enough to provide justice to those who may have not lost elections, or those who feel that the outcomes were unfair. So ours is to, one, provide early warning information where we think that there may be reason to think there may be violence, or where there is likely to be high level of contestation or competition, because those are dynamic. They are dynamic attributes or symptoms. And then we also provide election support during the election itself, and that is looking at the briefing for the election observers, looking at the security for the election observers, looking at deployment of election observers, and identifying hotspots which may be of interest, but not all hotspots are of interest, because some may be highly contested to the extent that the observers may be put in harm's way. So we strive to ensure that observers go in and come out safely from the whole electoral process and do their work as prescribed in the EAC Principles of Election Observation and Evaluation, which has 15 criteria which we observe. And these range from freedoms in the process, fairness in the process, secrecy in the process, neutrality in the process, inclusivity in the process, peacefulness in the process, and transparency and non-discrimination in the process, among others. So we support the whole of this system, but under the ambit of the governance, the department that handles the four governance areas. Yeah. I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, my mic was off. I was asking which kind of institutions, for example, if you arrive in Tanzania or if you arrive in Uganda, which kind of institutions do you work with?
Okay, we work with one, the ministry responsible for EAC affairs, because that is the coordinating ministry, and that is the focal ministry that we work through as a statutory requirement. And through the ministry, we gain access to a number of organizations of interest or government structures of interest. That is police. This includes the electoral management bodies. This includes the register of political parties. This includes political parties themselves. This includes presidential candidates. We try to be as broad-based as possible when consulting within that process, but we do it through the ministry responsible for EAC affairs.
Just still on that, so like now the whole machine has started for Kenya. I mean, like you have started engaging with the institutions, with some, others might come in the next few months, but you have started the engagement as the EAC?
I've lost you for a while. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I was asking if you have started already engaging as the EAC Secretariat with institutions in Kenya.
You are saying?
Have you started already the engagement with institutions in Kenya?
Not yet, because our activities are pegged to the budgets, and the budgets operate on financial years. And Kenya's election will be held next financial year, which starts in July. So, but we have, through our normal early warning work, we have started doing some preparatory work, but not serious engagement, because serious engagement will start in July, which is the pre-electoral period, because we have 3 observation periods: pre, during, and post. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm happy about that. I think young people who are here can now understand the way an institution, a body like EAC work, and especially during these times of election, how do they engage, who do they engage, and how they operate. Thank you very much for that. I will go to Rose. Hey, Rose, do you hear me?
Hey, Kaze, yes, I hear you.
Yes, so I would be happy to hear from you. I know you are really into all the Kenyan saga. You have been following up everything happening in Nairobi and out. I just want you to give us like a general feeling. What do you think about this time? How is the mood in Kenya? We still ahead, I think almost now is no longer 6 months, maybe 5 months something towards election. How do you read? Is really a conducive is there a conducive environment for the elections?
Thank you, Kaze. I think this is the most contested election in Kenya. And one mood that I'm really glad to see currently, the general feeling is that young people are stepping up for leadership positions. Like, for example, the member of county assembly, I've seen several young people, great leaders from civil society, from other angles, trying to get into the political space. That is one thing I've observed with this election. Another thing that I've really observed is that political manipulation is not going away anytime soon, because some of our politicians, if not all, but majority, are still doing things the same way they've been done in past elections. We don't see each other as equal competitors in the race. Some want to intimidate and harass their competitors. Some want to create enmity out of it. And I still also see a team of young people who taken for granted, who are given money to go skills when people are doing the political campaigns. And this is really not good for a country that has experienced political violence in the past. And I'm also seeing a lot happening in regards to prevention, electoral violence prevention, whereby I see a lot of peace campaigns online, peace campaigns, advocacy at the community level. That is something that is okay. Another mood that I'm reading is that apart from people abusing each other verbally and fighting physically, some have taken their fights online. So social media is being used as a tool in this electioneering period to just cause a confusion. And that is something that is generally happening in the country as at now. Another thing is that some very crucial, for example, businesses are openly taking sides. We have media houses that have publicly declared support for certain political parties. And so this brings out the question of how authentic are the news they're giving or they're feeding us, how real, or if they're always in favor of the person they're supporting. That is something that is really causing confusion. Another thing that I see is that I'm not so sure that we really learned from the post-election violence, because if we can still have a team of people who will go out there and publicly fight for a politician, this is a red flag. Thank you, Kazi. Did I answer you?
You really did, and I will even open for few comments from young people in few minutes. But I think that's a good read of the situation in Kenya. I live in Nairobi, and I have been also observing, especially following online the discussions, and I have the same feeling, especially that now the fight is no longer just on the streets. Mm-hmm. The fight has moved online, and online people, we have faceless people, so sometimes you don't even know who you are talking to. So the violence we are used to see just on the street is now going online through Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms where people can just say whatever they want. So yeah, I totally agree. And I hope that in coming months, many people will come out and start also pointing out to what is happening. I will just go back to Mr. Onyonyi and ask, so you told us how you engage countries and the member states and institutions is there space for young people in all these things which are done by the EAC Secretariat? How do you engage young people? Are there any activities planned, things like that, to make sure that also that constituency of young people is also included?
Thank you very much. We have made deliberate efforts to bring young people on board, and I think in recent elections, youth ambassadors participating in the electoral process. The idea being, because when we constitute teams, we attempt to constitute teams which have a member of parliament from Yala or national parliament, a young person, and a member of either the human rights body or electoral management body or of the other partner states. So through that process, we think that the young persons get exposed to mentorship by these very experienced people who are on board. And I think we sustain that. All our limit has been resources, but resources allowing we think that we should bring in as we. I also think that young people are the most active in the social media, and that is where the violence is now. The violence is not in the streets. If you read social media posts, they are very vile and very disturbing. And it is an area where influencers from the young people can try to bring a difference. Young people can support ideology-based politics from ethnicity, and that is extremely important. And that is one thing that young people can do because their perspective of life is different, and there's a big group of young people who can share experiences with others and see how to bring them on board in a more positive way. Young people are very important in terms of voter mobilization, registration of voters, and actually voting, because you're actually choosing your future. And also the culture of civic participation in decision making must be inculcated in the young people, that it is you can make a difference to your future. And you only make a difference with your vote. If you don't vote, you stand to blame nobody, because it may be that one vote of yours that can make a difference. And considering that the larger percentage of voters are young, I think 60–70% are young people. So their participation in the political process makes a big difference. And that can be a catalyst for change. So all these are processes where young people can really participate and give information. And also young people are critical to stopping electoral violence. The tools for implementing electoral violence. So that is also an area which requires influence who can work within society at different levels and bring together the fact that electoral violence leaves you worse off than you were before. It scares investors, it reduces employment opportunities, it has far-reaching societal effects, apart from creating a culture of violence which is not in sync with the kind of society that we want to build, where there is law and order, where justice prevails. Yeah. And where systems are working to their extent that there are more civil ways. I don't know if that has answered you well.
Yes, yes. No, thank you very much for that answer. And we really look forward to those engagements. I think something we really appreciate is the way now young people are being included, especially in those observation missions, which in the past it's something looking like it's for big people with big positions, but to see now that at least through the ESC Youth Ambassadors platform, young people can go and learn. Those are things where we really appreciate to see institutions start taking, but also all other activities, which I'm sure will be happening pre, during, and after elections, especially as we are saying, to influence young people, especially on online campaigns. I will go to Rose. Now, Rose, I know you work and you are the founder of The Legend Kenya, and you work especially in informal settlements and in communities, and there are a lot of young people there. I live in a place which is not very far from any formal settlement, and you can see the mood, the fear, but also the agitation of young people. What are you doing as, for example, an organization to try to talk to them, to cool them down and make them understand that this is a very big process we are going to, but this is a process we have also to go without being violent, because now violence will make, as Mr. Onyonyi was saying, there's a lot of consequences. Life can be lost, but also a lot of economical lost. So what is happening at The Legend Kenya?
Currently, I'd say we are having conversations, and these are like really narrowed down conversation at the grassroots level. And we just finished a 3 days training on trauma healing awareness and resilience. And in one of the trainings, they were happening both in Korogosho and Kayole simultaneously. So in Kayole, we had a young person who participated in was a perpetrator in the last post-election violence. And him going through this trauma healing and awareness training really triggered something inside him. And he was saying, I am better off when I'm on this other side. I feel peaceful being on the other side and just being aware, because when I was participating in this violence, I lost my sense of self. I was doing it as a result of wanting to please a politician. I was doing it because I wanted to grab other people's property, the money I wanted to earn where I had not invested. I was doing it because I was protecting my my tribe. So these are some of the conversations that are going on at the grassroots level by The Legend Kenya. And the reason as to why we are focusing on mental health, this is because people who are mentally stable are less likely to participate in violence or conflict, because then they are able to analyze and understand what they're just about to get into. They're able to relate with they're able to put themselves in the shoe of the other and just try to be empathetic with the other person, trying to understand the kind of harm they can cause. And this pain that people carry with them are the ones that with time, people seek revenge as a result of the same. So these are some of the conversations that are ongoing. Other conversations include, we had a conversation in 2 different police stations, one in Korogosho and another one in Mathare. And this was dubbed sharing a meal at the police station. Peace cannot be achieved in isolation. If we are to achieve peace, then we must work together. When we went into this police station and we were doing buy-in meetings, I asked the OCS, can we kindly have a conversation at the police station? Because in most cases, if we invite you for our meetings at the community level, you will come and give us your 5 minutes and walk away. And we understand that you're working. Now, can you please provide a conducive environment at the station so that women and youths can come and let us have a conversation. Let us discuss some of the things that are ailing our community. As these were the most amazing dialogues sessions I've ever had in my life. Reason being, youths and women look at the police as a people who have caused them pain, and as a people who are always brutalizing, harassing them, killing their sons, their brothers, their people, their close people. On the other hand, the police are looking at these youths as perpetrators. They're looking at these women as a people who are protecting evils that are happening in the society. But when we went into this station, then at the beginning, the conversations were very tense. Who is going first? People were trying to be very careful and choosy with their wordings. So I decided to break the cycle and ask us to sit in a circle, whereby a circle as a way of equalizing all of us. So when we sat in this circle, we were trying to, first of all, deal with the evils that we see in others. Community, what are some of the evils you see in the police? And I pose a question: how do you call a police officer at the community level when you see them? Then one girl said, I call them beasts. And she was very bitter. I call them beasts. I hate them. Even now I'm here with them and I am trembling. I don't know what to tell them. So we ask ourselves in that same dialogue, who is a beast? The same participant are saying beast is an unknown animal in the Bible. It will come in the end times. Some of them say the beast has a big head and there are 7 heads. Some of them say it is a scary, unknown animal. So I asked them, if you were to be called a beast, will you appreciate that name? If this coin is to flip and you become the beast and this person becomes you, how will you feel? Then we asked the police officers, some of the questions that these young people are posing to them. Sometimes you come doing you're just walking around the community, and when you see us young people, you will arrest me and tell me that my eyes are extremely red. It seems I've been using either marijuana or I'm under an influence, or I am ugly. So being ugly is a crime in this country. If you see my face and you think I'm ugly according to you as an officer, then that is a warranty for you to arrest me. These were some of the conversations that we were having at the station. But what really made me happy towards the end is that these 3 groups, women, youths, and police, were able to have genuine, open, honest conversation. This relationship has since been enhanced, whereby the officer commanding police station provided his contact in public. And we encouraged each other that this contact is not to be used to set each other to the police. And the police, when they receive information, they must interrogate, and they must know that sometimes people can be biased with the information. These are some of the things that we were doing last year. Another thing included having inter-area conversations, whereby we move young people from their own setup and take them to a very different setup. For example, we had a dialogue in Kayole with youths from Korogosho and Kayole. This creates a sense of, you know what, this country, if Kayole is hurting or a young person in Kayole is hurting, Kenya is hurting. If I'm causing chaos in my community, I am doing this for my selfish gains. I am hurting the entire country. For so long, these communities have only had relationship of, if I hurt Kaze's mom in Kayole, I can go and hide in Korogosho, or I can go and hide in Kiambio. So for the first time, we are trying to introduce peace champions. If something is to happen in this country, the people who we will call upon to stand for peace are women and youths. Why? Because there is already an existing network. Another thing that is really happening is making sure that we not only do this with police and youths and women, we have gone a notch higher by making sure that we involve institutions that handle electoral related issues, like the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. We have a general feeling by the majority of young people now that we cannot go into the field or a match with a referee who is biased. There is a perception that your vote doesn't count. The referee already has the final answer. So we have had an opportunity to bring some of these representatives on board and just trying to clear some of the issues, trying to make them understand that, sometimes you think elections are rigged, but as it is now in this country, according to the feedback that we got last time, is that it is very difficult to rig an election. So that them trying to explain then brings a sense of, then this makes me understand why I should vote. We are having a team of young people who are still undecided whether they should be going to the ballot boxes or not. Reason being, we haven't had an opportunity to conduct thorough civic education. With these programs, there is a limitation when it comes to resources. So that is still a gap, but it is something that we are managing. Another thing is that in as much as we strive in peace, in initiating peace conversations and having all these dialogues about trauma healing, we still have a missing gap of having these politicians commit to peaceful elections in this country. Because most of the peace building initiatives will happen during the day. These people will plan their things at night and even execute some of them. So you wake up tomorrow in the morning, the same community you're trying to bring together and talk to, then something strange has happened. So that is a challenge. Another thing that we are focusing on, we want to do exchange visits in prison. Kaze?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Amazing. We want to do exchange visits in prison. The reason as to why we are going to do this in the month of March and April is because there is an influence that is directly connected to some of the violences that are happening in these communities as a result of either an ex-convict or a person who is in prison. The main reason as to why we want to do this is to prepare them that, even as you serve your sentence inside here, we have hands that are willing and ready to receive you in a positive way. Most of these young people, when they come back from prison, they still have a way of tracking their systems that they left behind. So how do we introduce a different culture of ex-convicts? You will come back, you've served your sentence, you went there as a person who did wrong to the society, but now we are offering this opportunity to make sure that you reintegrate into the system or community peacefully, and you also become a peace ambassador. If these are some of the people, if we get hold of them, then we can make Kenya peaceful, because we are also trying to break the cycle of violence in this country. Those are some of the things that we are doing. Another thing that we have really focused on include women talking circles. We are aware of some of the challenges that women face and are currently facing when it comes to election. The reason as to why we are focusing with women is because in most cases, women have been seen as people who bear the burden of violence when it happens. But I want to say that today we have women peace champions, a woman who will stand in a baraza, a public gathering, and talk about peace. We have women who will try and at least talk to their sons. How do we prepare women to make sure that we are bringing to an end this violence? And in most of our talking circles, we ask women and children suffer most when violence happens.
Exactly.
But do we know what happened to men and these boys? They pay dearly, they pay with their lives. So if you are to lose a son, if you are to lose a husband, they have paid for that violence dearly. You will not replace their lives. So we encourage the culture of let us not discriminate even as we talk to each other. The pain of violence is bared by everybody in the society.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm very much touched with one of the things you guys do, and the whole success of what you do, it's based on one thing: dialogue. People being able to talk and bringing communities together, bringing an institution which people fears they will. It's a very sad, but young people in informal settlement have that big gap with the police. It's like they see you and they have already defined who you are. So bringing people together, thinking outside the box and saying, oh, we have even to think about our people who are in prison. We have to think about how do we bring also young women and women into this. I'm very much happy. I see people who are saying, I think you can read the comments, really telling you keep up. And I think that's the good thing of all this, the dialogue. And I wish that maybe we are already in 2022, the elections are happening, but the election will keep happening. One of my wishes to see communities from different tribes, even different political parties sitting together and dialogue and saying, you know what, you people from ODA, this is how we think about you. You people from Azimio, this is how we think about you. That kind of way of talking. And it's sad. And I agree with you that you work so hard and somebody comes at night, a politician throws something, and in the morning, you don't recognize the work you have been doing. So really, there is that need. I hope next week, from 9 to 11, CMD Kenya is going to try to bring people together. And one of the things they want to do is about making politicians commit to peaceful elections. And I hope that will ease also the dialogue. I want to just go quickly to the last questions so that we can open to the audience. Mr. Onyonyi, just in few minutes or seconds, is there, or from EAC perspective and assessment, do you see already early warnings in the coming elections in Kenya? And how do you think young people can help or can be involved to curb those any violence that may arise in Kenya?
Thank you. I have been involved in Kenya's electoral processes for a long time. And I have been involved as a Kenyan, as a voter. I was even a returning officer one time in a Kenyan election in the famous 1988 Mlolongo elections. I was a returning officer. So I've seen it all. But I also think that at times people fail to understand the Kenyan political dynamics. Because the Kenyan political environment is very loud. It's very loud to the discomfort of many. But that is how it has always been. It has never been silent. And it gets louder and louder. as leadership becomes more lucrative and competitions become even more stiff. So that does not necessarily mean there will be violence, no. Because on my part, I know that we will never go back to 2007. That one I am sure of. Because a lot of measures have been put in place over time to ensure that we never have such a scenario again. And we have no excuse for that scenario. The judiciary has proved that it can be an arbiter. So you don't need violence to get your justice. They will do it for you, however difficult it is. So what I would attempt to advise young Kenyans is to deal with this verbal violence in social media, because we are tribalizing young people who do not even know which tribes they belong to. They are being brought into tribal dynamics, and that is something that we really need to fight, so that people compete on ideology, not ethnicity.
Exactly.
Because ethnicity-based political environment is what has taken us, is what took us to what we saw in 2007. And considering that there's heavy participation by young people in Kenya in social media and all forms of social media. At times when I get into social media, I really get worried, because the kind of posts you see are very violent. They promote hatred. You hate people you don't know just because of who they are. And in as much as the youth say they want leadership, but they're using that forum to destroy themselves and promote those old people. That is what is happening. They simply reduce themselves to youth wingers, not as leaders. Yet they should also be taking leadership mantle now. So that if the youth can work on the social media, working on the electronic media is much easier. Influencing through music, through arts, through culture, it's very, very important. These are areas where the youth are very active. So there's a lot that you can do to change or to positively influence the outcome of the elections and provide a better fate for the country than just engaging in abusing each other in the social media. Yeah.
Very true.
Because otherwise, the possibility of being used as cannon fodder is there. Yes, you fight for people you don't know.
Exactly, that's very true. No, yeah, thank you very much for that. And one of the things I think we have heard a lot is again social media, and again how the whole ethnic thing playing and what. But I also want to point out that there are so many young people who are running for political position. If all those young people would come together and decide and say, you know what, for us as young people, we are going to be on one side and fight that we have a very peaceful election, and no young person should be also brought into violence. And I really thank you for that. I want to bring Rose, use just a few minutes. What advice would you give as Rose, as a Kenyan who has seen and a lot of things happening? What advice would you give to young people who are here and others who will be following?
Thank you, Kaze. I wish we had more time to do this. There are some questions, but I've just shared my number and my email in the WhatsApp group. So maybe for those of you who want to get in touch. So my advice to the youth of this country, those who are here and those who are outside there, is that in in violence, we all lose in one way or another. And in peace, we all have a way of either winning or at least finding an equilibrium to some of the challenges that we face as young people. Another thing is that young people must come out and vote.
Exactly.
You must get outside there and vote, because if you don't, you will forever be making noise. And we had a conversation this last dialogue with the IBC official and a returning officer in our constituency, and women were bragging and telling these young people, you know what, all of you are we have like 20 who want to vie for the member of country assembly, and they're amazing leaders. But you know what? Something strange is happening. People have taken their votes outside of our constituency. They have gone to other areas. So we ask ourselves, who will vote for your fellow youth if all of you are going outside your constituencies? And women are telling them, if you don't change the way you do things, then you will forever be ruled by these old folks, because you don't want to commit. You want cash. You want peanuts. You want someone to buy your vote. No, we should change this narrative. Go and vote in a leader who stands for the people. Go and vote in a leader who will bring change in your community. Don't just sit there and say, I want a fellow youth. What if this youth cannot even deliver in the first place? Or they have done nothing for this country? We must not look at other people as our enemies, but we must be realistic on the kind of leadership we want for this country. Another thing I would really like to talk about is that there is life after election. It is not a do or die thing. If Kenya, we are to die, all of us, then who will be there for this country? None of us. So can you please be patriotic and take care of our country? This country has given us soil to live on, and it has really protected us. Can we please give it back by making sure we don't shed each other's blood? Thank you, Kazi. I think that's all for now.
Thank you very much. I wish we would have more time, but I know we as you lead, we will have a lot of discussion about the Kenyan election in the coming weeks and months, till really the time of election, even after, to discuss about the post-election. I just want to open discussion for our audience. Let me see. We have, oh my God, there are many. Yes, we have many. I see already 3. We can start with Ridhiwani Sadiki. Any comment, question?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Kazi. I think this is a fantastic conversation at the right time. I'm happy for those conversations. In fact, for the one from Rose, I mean, it's really touching, and that's a fantastic job she's doing in Nairobi. And I also want to thumb up the guy who is in charge of the matters election observation. And I have only one question from the guy who is on matters election observation. When this election has been observed and the report is there and there is malpractices, what is their role for the election observation body, both the East Africa and the country's election observation organization? So the other one was to get contacts from Rose so as we can engage, and she's already shared the contacts. And I mean, for me, when it comes to elections and matters peace, matters youth, matters women and children, it's really touching. And I mean, there must be a proper conversation. There must be proper dialogue to ensure that.
Sorry for cutting you. I wish we had more time, but I want to give many people the opportunity to say something. Mr.
Thank you.
I hope you have noted that question. We can have Odimwengu. Just use no more than 1 minute.
Okay, hello everybody. I want to take this opportunity to thank you all for organizing this. My name is Pigeon Odimwengu. I'm 26 years old. I'm a presidential aspirant. I want to ensure that young people have an alternative. As we prepare and advocate for young people to go vote, we must also prepare an alternative government, because voting periodically for leaders who don't relate and resonate with us is what lead to young people even failing to vote. So I have come up with, of course, a group of young aspirants. Now I'm having 120 of them from different political parties. I'm trying to unite them together so that we can share the cost of participating in election. You must realize one of the challenges we are having also is politics is very expensive for young people. So if we come together, then we can be able to move around the country in a cheaper manner. So we'll be launching, of course, our Youth for Youth Declaration, but we'll also foresee where all stakeholders dealing with youth matters come together to come up with a youth manifesto. And youth manifesto is a country manifesto because youth are in every sector, so that all young aspirants who are going to aspire must sign to this MOU that I'm going to be elected to advocate for this agenda. So irrespective of our political party, we are going to work together. And I believe that we young people, like for example, if I'm from a different tribe, I'll be going to another region to campaign for another young person who is in another different tribe and in another different political party. In this way, we'll be able to at least have peace and also come together and unite together. And in this way, you can also be able to increase our chances of being elected. So that's what I deal with, but I'm very passionate about youth leadership. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that's a very innovative. Young people, for young people, how do we engage each other as young people and how do we support each other? Thank you very much for that. Let me go. I need to bring about women in this conversation. Christine Umar.
Hello, hi, my name is Christine Omar. I am an intern at ESAPIS and I'm also a digital content creator, basically a YouTuber, and I'm very passionate about youth leadership and basically African leadership. Therefore, I created, in partnership with the organization that I work with, which is ESAPIS, Africa Center for People, Institutions and Society, I created a Twibonize that allows young people to put their photos and be part of the social media campaign that I'm currently running. And they can register for it. The social media campaign aims to empower young youths, young people to tackle online hate and misinformation during 2022 elections. And I really like what Leonard said about the social media and basically the online platforms and the impact it has, especially right now. Very many people receive information and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to confirm and fact check whether it's true. And basically that is what the training does. And I'd highly appreciate it if at least everyone or anyone, especially Pigbin, would share the link to the registration so that young people, whenever they come across information online, they can fact check, is this true? Did this particular leader say this? What does it mean? Before actually going to fire information and share it with more people, and that contributes to violence. Online platforms right now are being used to manipulate very many people, especially young people, and this training is important. And I've already shared the link to the training on the group.
Good. That's what I was going to ask, actually. Yes. Thank you very much. Yeah. Oh, I see even my colleague has shared, leave your contact. Oh, she's read the comment. My colleague, she's asking you if you can leave the contact and see how we can support on that. Thank you very much, Christine. Eunice.
Thank you very much, Lee, and our panelists.
You are most welcome.
Thank you very much. A very good friend of mine, passionate about security, and a lot has been said, and it's true. What I can urge our youth is let's come together. Rose is only working in informal settlement areas of Nairobi, not all part of it. She can't do this alone. We are many youth in Kenya. Over 70% youth are perceived to be perpetrators of violence. Youth have been used as agents of violence and to provoke violence through social media and also in the streets. And right now we have youths who are agents of peace, who are working towards peace. Let's join hands together. I believe we can do this, and if we start with our areas, some are in Bungoma, Kisumu, Nairobi, every county, if we can join hands as youth in peace and security, we can we can use an hashtag of peaceful Kenya peaceful election, youth for Kenya peaceful election. And towards getting towards election, we are a bigger number. We only come together, we collabo, we do civil education, we do peace campaigns. I believe this can work. And also those who have been perpetrators, we can talk to them, help them through mental. You can seek psychosocial support. We can form psychosocial support groups. These are strategies that you can use to ensure that we have peaceful Kenya. I believe we can do this, and we can change the history. We can change the history and the notion that youth are just perpetrators and agents of conflict. We can have conversations and dialogues with the administration and with our leaders as well. We are looking forward to this, and I believe from this conversation, we can form a group that is going to spearhead this, and we can make this. I believe that youth are powerful. I can see youth who are coming up as aspiring different leadership roles, some MCAs, some even governance, even senates. I believe youth can do this. When we have youth in leadership, we can change the notion, we can change the culture of youth just being perpetrators. We can even change the notion that youth are unemployed. When there's election, we can't actually get employment because we are scaring away investors and we are scaring away development. Yeah. I think this can start from here, and we'll see a peaceful Kenya coming September and even in December. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Eunice. I like this way of people wanting really to collaborate and we come together, and that's what we are also calling for. And we hope that going towards election, we will be able to have these support groups of people who are working really for peaceful election in Kenya. We can conclude with two and make really quick comments. Alex, and then we conclude with Edison. Alex, to you.
Okay. Thank you so much for this very useful conversation. I'm Alex Victorius from Mount Elgon, working with the Amani community-based organization, but also with other church and even the national NGOs working in peace activities, especially in Western region, Bungoma, Mount Elgon. For the Kenyans, they know Mount Elgon as one of the very volatile area where the land use and other issues related to that, and only elections become the catalyst for conflicts. However, I see this year that actually we might have hope, of course, if the national elections tallying and so on goes well, and of course if the other parties accept the results, and that will make Kenya a very peaceful, and the transition process will go well. Actually, from one of our activities from the supported by ADS, the Anglican Development Services Western, have been already roll out our program, especially in addressing pre-post and even during the elections activities on peace, and we are engaging both youths and not forgetting border groups and so on. But my challenge is stakeholders in wanting to push for peaceful elections. And as you know, that it's actually dictated by the key political figures, where if they have that power and have that goodwill to ensure that despite the differences in looking for these top high seats in politics, also there is a need to keep the Kenyan peace. I think that can give us hope. But otherwise, we have the issues of poverty, we have the issues of political alignment to different, even up to the ward level. We have seen the big challenges. And here it tells us that the workers in peace are very limited. So we need a lot of people coming in, supporting peace activities. I know the resources is a big challenge. And already we have seen even the police, the security sector, they also have the limitations. So what we are calling is actually we need to push for the government to ensure that every security agent, every departments play its role. And we as youth also ensure that we play a critical role to ensure we influence our fellow colleagues, the youths, and even the aspirants to ensure that when they conduct elections campaign, they do it in a way that it actually protects the human rights at any given level. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and for those calls and calling young people and stakeholders here. Edison.
Thank you so much, Kaze, for giving me the opportunity and hosting our panelists. Once again, Edson Riema from Uganda. My question, I'm directing it to Leonard. She talked about early warning, but I wanted to first flashback before 2000 general election in Kenya, which became too chaotic, in which many Kenyans lost their lives. A lot of things of this kind was done, but at the end of it, we saw different things happen, just because the information or the kind of design of the program was more of on paper than disseminating the information it entails to the local community who would have observed this information. Now I'm asking, what different strategy or what approach have they used this time to make sure people in the local community or in urban dwellings get to this information, so that we don't see what happened in 2007 again happening this year? Then to Rose, the legend, yes, by its name, it scares me, because when we talk about legend, these are all elders. Now, what initiative do they have in place to change the perception of the young people about their fellow young people who are vying for different political positions, especially the member of parliament? And if not there, why not? Now, why is it that the number of young people in Kenya are vying up for presidential position are not like what we had in Uganda in the just concluded election we had in 2021? Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Edison, and always for participating in our activities. Just want to give back to Mr. Onyonyi to just answer quickly the questions, and Rose, while you are doing that, make your concluding remarks, and then we will conclude. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think there are two questions for me.
Yes.
What happens to the reports after elections? And it is closely tied with the second question. One is that it is important for all of us to understand the limitations of the East African community. You know, we have no executive powers. We are a coordinating entity. So we remain to coordinate what partner states have agreed upon. We can't impose anything on the partner states. And that is the agreement with respect to election observation reports. They are done, and after they are done, they are taken to the Council of Ministers, who then submit them to the partner state that held the elections. It is up to the partner state to choose what they want from it and what they don't want from it. Others, they have no obligation because they are recommendations, and recommendations, you don't. There's no obligation on implementing recommendations. You take what you want, leave what you don't want. Two. The second question dwelt on the question of going down to the grassroots. We don't do that. We operate at national level because otherwise we'll also be infringing on sovereign rights and sovereign responsibilities of the individual partner states. So we operate more at national level, and what we observe by and large are presidential and parliamentary elections. Because if those two are done well, the others simply work well. Finally, I have faith that Kenya has gone through a lot of lessons. And since the 2010 Constitution, institutions have been strengthened and they are enjoying their independence. That should be comforting to every Kenyan, that you have institutions you can fall upon and rely on. And then, very interestingly about this elected scenario this time round, is that there isn't much talk about the Electoral Commission because that is where the pain normally starts. When you have contestation on appointment of members of the Electoral Commission, then the problem goes full scale. This time we appear not to have that problem, which gives stability to the electoral management body, which gives much more public confidence to that electoral management body and allows them to discharge their constitutional responsibilities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rose.
Thank you, Kazi. I just want to respond to someone who said the legends, like we are focused on, I think it was something to do with the old. The name scares him. I want him not to be afraid because the Legend is a youth-led and youth-serving organization. About support for Member of Parliament aspirants, as an organization, we are non-partisan because at the grassroots level, we are working with everyone irrespective of their political affiliation. So as an organization, we don't really do anything in regards to supporting any particular candidate, but we encourage the community to vote wisely, and those are some of the things you've been doing. So I hope I really answered him. And moving forward, my closing remark, I think I have made a lot, but I'll still re-emphasize that youths are should no longer be seen as only perpetrators and victims of violence. We have seen peace champions across the country, not only in Nairobi. And this is something that is really, really, really encouraging. So I sleep sound knowing that I can count on Kazi as a peace builder, rather than knowing I can count on Kazi as a person whom we can only meet when we want to cause destruction in this country. So Kenya is making those baby steps, and youths are taking up the peace building space. And this is really encouraging, and the innovative ways of them doing things. And I also see a scenario where young people are also very inclusive in their peace building processes. Unlike before, the peace building fraternity was only seen as a field for them or very old people who are perceived to be wiser than the young ones. Today, I see young people being inclusive in their processes, and I'm hoping we will have another conversation after this general election, Kazi, just to celebrate these peace champions and some of the victory we'll have gone through after this process. Kenya is not burning again, not anytime soon. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very, very much. I look forward. I think every day I look forward to what is going to happen. And I look forward to August, but I look forward mostly to September, where we will be talking and having lessons and celebrating young people who have been elected and celebrating young peace champions and celebrating those kind of things. So yeah, I just want to say thank you very much to my speakers, to Ms. Rose Mbone and Mr. Leonard Onyonyi for the time and the wisdom and whatever you have shared with us. It was really worth our time and to be here to listen to you and learn from you and get encouraged. So thank you very, very much for your time and your wisdom. I want also to thank everyone who participated, to all Kenyans who are here and to all other people who are in many other countries. I think you have heard people from Uganda, people from Eswatini. Sometimes we get even people from Africans who are in Europe or in Asia. So thank you very much for everyone. And thank you to my colleagues who have supported here, for Fiona and other colleagues. I think I saw Ange and the ESC Youth Ambassadors. Next week, we will continue again another discussion on Kenya. As we said, we are having, there will be a People's Dialogue Festival from 9 to 11. So we keep also learning what is going to happen there, what are the discussion, and what is our contribution to that discussion. So karibu sana also next Thursday from 7 to 8. Thank you very much and have a great evening.
Thank you, Kazi. Bye.
Bye.
Tusonga mbele mama Afrika, Afrika, Tusonga mbele mama Afrika, Afrika,
Africa. Mulishani wonse. Bonjour.
From country to country, yeah, we gotta work together. We are leaders now, aiming higher for the better. Together, to make our nations greater, or sharing to empower. So you lead, I lead, we lead together. So you lead, I lead, we lead together. We will lead, we will lead. Let your dream be a reality. We will lead, we will lead. Let your dream be a reality.
Yeah, listen, together we shape young men and women. With the pillars, with the future, here we are. Let's join together with ability to change communities, with love, with peace, to respond to our need, to call for unity. Africa, hear me cry, never leave me alone. As I see light in a brighter future, let's join hands for youth and women. Let's join hands for youth and
So you
women.
lead, I lead, we lead together. So you lead, I lead, we lead together. We will lead, we will lead. Let your dream be a reality. We will lead, we will lead. Let your dream be a reality.
Yeah, vijana wa Afrika wote waungana, vijana vijana kutoka mashariki, magharibi, kaskazini na kusini, hata na kati, twaja pamoja ili tufanye nini?